All right, picked up some stuff from the store, got a filter, got some oil, picked up some shop towels. This is like a rush treatment because I've seen a couple like small spots. I just want to stop it before, it gets worse. There's nothing bad, but you want to stop it when it's small, not when it's really bad. Got the carpet over here, got some cleaning stuff to kind of spray it a little bit on this rubber piece over here just to see what it would do. It cleaned it up pretty good. The carpet, I kind of want to pressure wash it, so I may do that. As far as the big pile of stuff that we have over here, I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff in the car, but I've been thinking about this wiring. I kind of looked at it a little bit the other day. So we found this Apex multi-checker, the boost gauge. This is a S14 computer, and then we have an adapter harness here. This MSD piece here is actually some type of TAC adapter, and then of course we had the air fuel controller, which was right there. So kind of what I'm thinking, this is a lot of interesting tech from a long time ago, but it's pretty dated. Not saying it doesn't work, but I mean, it is kind of dated. Kind of what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm going to get rid of the SAFC, get rid of this older Type S boost controller, get rid of this Apex multi-checker, get rid of this S13 computer with the harness, and just order a standalone for the car, because I can kind of consolidate all of this stuff and all of this wiring down to one unit that will handle everything. And I think that's the smartest move. I'm not sure exactly what standalone I want to get yet. I could go with like a Mega Squirt, Haltech, Blink. I mean, there's a lot. So I'm gonna take this stuff out here today, maybe try and clean something with the carpet, pull these seats out right here. That way I can clean the floorboard, because as we seen the other day, clean the inside, start grabbing some of these panels. Since the dash is already out right now, what I decided to do, well, let me show you guys. So I was looking at the car and I was trying to investigate some stuff, and back here, I see that the heater core has been unplugged. The hose is just not hooked up, but it's not bypassed. So that kind of makes me wonder if maybe the heater core in this vehicle was leaking. Maybe that's why the carpet was out. Maybe that's why there's some of this white powder looking stuff that's on the car. Maybe they were using that as a way to dry up the water that was leaking on the floor. Just a theory. I think it's a pretty good theory though. I went ahead and ordered a heater core that'll be here today sometime. That way, I don't have to take this dash back out, and it's kind of cool outside right now. If I'm going to drive this car around at all, I'm going to need to have some heat. Might as well. That's another thing I'll have to do, is get this here taken off. For the back interior pieces, what I'll do is I'll get the back interior pieces, the back seat belts, both those side panel pieces there, and get the back part done, and then we'll just leave the dash for last. Plus, I want to kind of clean it up some too. Also wanted to show you guys underneath the car. It does have a camber arm and a arm so you can adjust tow. Back here, these appear to be, my memory serves me right, I believe they're Kazama Auto. It's like a Japanese brand. See, this exhaust is missing a hanger right here as well, but it looks pretty good underneath here. It doesn't look, rusty or nothing like that. That's more dirt than anything. The seat wasn't even bolted in. This is what it looks like with the seat removed. I'd seen a little bit of rust over here and I was kind of freaking out thinking it was something really bad, but it's not. It's not bad at all. Most of it's gonna even wipe off, and then I'll treat the rest of it. We can look under here for a minute. These are your, I guess, I don't know, unibody rails. But they're not rusty at all. Even the pinch weld going all the way up. The pinch weld looks good. So pretty happy about that. Okay, so got one out here. These are really loose. I brought a ratchet, but at least they come out by hand. It's your MSD TAC adapter. Got some kind of green and yellow wire right here. Okay, these are looped together. One of them's going to a blue wire with a female connector on it, and the other one is tapped into the harness and appears to be going to what looks to be a solid white wire on the OEM harness. All right, this one here, this goes to the Apex-C multi-checker, which is the one that'll check like your, I don't know, like air-fuel ratio, timing, coolant temperature, maybe airflow meter, just a bunch of stuff. And it's a neat device and it's super cool, but it's just old technology with something that a standalone computer can take care of all by itself nowadays. So it seems to have 10 wires. Looks like all 10 of them are hooked into the car's harness. So I'll get those out in a few minutes, but for right now, I'm just kind of like going through the stuff and, you know, seeing what each one of these things are and removing what I can. What is this? Okay, this is the SAFC. So this is also wired directly into the harness, which is kind of crazy because there's a, you know, you have this adapter harness right here, and with this adapter harness, you could have tapped into it. Maybe he didn't have the adapter harness whenever he hooked this other stuff up. Maybe he was at one point in time, you know, he was just running the Apex-C SAFC to control fuel, to add extra fuel for the boost, which is really possible. And then later on, decided to go to a tuned computer, which I assume this is a tuned computer. It's definitely an S14 harness. I believe this is a RS enthalpy. Martin would have done this, and I don't see a sticker on it, but this does have the case on it, and so I'll take that off and we'll look at that. But I'm gonna keep going and see what other stuff we got here. This is, you know, it goes into a cigarette lighter type plug, which we've seen. This seems to have like a power connector, and then this is right here, some type of, I don't know, it's like a, something for like a CB radio, or what you'd have on, you know, like an old PS2 for a mouse or something, but a lot larger. This wire here seems to be going into the engine bay. Let me separate this stuff. What do you guys think about people who don't cut the tails off their zip ties? Doesn't really bother me. I don't care. I've just seen some stuff online where people are triggered by it. Kind of funny. Okay, so I'll get this one out of the engine bay in a minute. It's another one that seems to be going into the engine bay. Some kind of 2-pin connector, green and white cable, or green and white wires. This is the boost controller, so obviously I know what this is, and I know that this rubber hose is going into the engine bay. Here we have our SAFC. This is the V2, SAFC2. It was just on with some double-sided tape that held it on. So that little blue wire runs up all the way across and then kind of disappears. So what I'm gonna do is start cutting these zip ties here, and we'll trace this thing out. Okay, so this one here is going to the boost control valve over there. It looks like this blue wire here is tapped into the distributor for some reason. It must be something to do with the Apex-C multi-checker, or maybe the SAFC. So it's tapped into what it looks like is the green wire. Can't tell if it's got a second color on it or not. I'm gonna need to get that out. This has also got the vacuum line that it seems to be running from the turbo all the way down to, oh, I wanted to show you guys this too. I was looking underneath here. Let's see if we can get under here. This appears to be some type of OEM style blow-off valve. It reminds me of like a DSM or maybe like an RB20 flange style blow-off valve, but it's definitely a OEM style. So I did want to look in here and see, already loosened these a minute ago. Okay. So what this is a RS enthalpy daughter board that he puts into the computers. you know, you can unscrew it, but I'm familiar with these and that's what this is. So that means that this motor was tuned and then the SAFC was either added first, then he got it tuned, or it was to fine tune after, or maybe when the guy who built this car made a change, maybe he went to larger injectors or something, I don't really know. But it's cool it's got in it, but I still think the best way to go about this will be just to go to standalone. As you can see, I got all these wires pulled out and that's the harness. I didn't film it, but the guy, you know, he did solder these. If I were to use this, then I'm gonna need to fix this stuff here and, you know, with some heat shrink and stuff. Luckily, some heat shrink actually came in the car. It's either that or there's a lot of different options that I could go with. I'm unsure right at the moment. At least I got all the bulk of all that junk out. This line here is the line that was running to, well, it's just running up to the intake right now. So this is all the stuff that I've taken out of this thing. So we got the Greddy Profec Type S, Defi boost gauge with controller. We got the SAFC2, the MSD tack adapter, Apexy multi-checker, and all of this stuff I am not gonna need anymore. So, I mean, technically I could keep the Defi boost gauge, but I'm just gonna get something else. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of these. So package come in. So this is going to be the heater core for the car. I just don't see any reason a person would have the lines disconnected on a car if the heater core wasn't messed up. And the dash is also taken out of the car. And like I said, you know, the lines over there are disconnected. So I went ahead and ordered one of these so I can do it while all the interior is still out.
A few moments later.
Well, I started taking some stuff apart and I forgot that I need to film some stuff. So I have this apart now and it looks like I was right. This was definitely leaking, which is why they had the lines unhooked up front. I'm gonna get that new one over there and get it put in here. So on this, there's just a little clip that has a screw that goes right here that I took out. And then the only thing you're gonna have to do is just pull this out. Oh yeah, definitely was leaking. Wanted to compare these to each other. Looks like the aftermarket one that I bought, the core is a little shorter. These pieces that stick out are definitely a lot longer. It said it was for a 240. That's how I bought it off Amazon. So it's Amazon, what can you say? But I think it'll still work. Okay, so you can see I've taken this off. One thing I noticed was that the tubes are a different size as well as a different length. This is what sucks about buying stuff aftermarket offline sometimes. They're just not the same diameter. And so as much as I'd hate to have to reuse this old one, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do because, you know, these are, I mean, they're not even shaped exactly the same. The old one is gonna get used. I'm gonna use these new seals and pop these old seals out of here with a pick though, and then just put these onto the new heater core. Okay, I've got the carpet in the car now. It was cut in one place. I just threw some zip ties on it real quick to hold it there. And then got the seat belts bolted back in. I am missing the covers that go over this, but I got the back seat in. Deck lid installed as well. The seats are installed, carpet's in. I got the door sills put on the car, kind of like wiped them down a little bit. You can still see this is what it's like cleaned up and how dirty like a lot of this other stuff is over here. That I want to clean, probably do that some other time. You can see, like, look at the door panel. It's got all this like mildew stuff on it. I just went ahead and put some of the dash stuff back together for right now because that heater core, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna have to return this. A local place that, you know, sells some parts or whatever, I hit them up and I'll hear something from them tomorrow and see if they can get me the correct one, you know, for this one. And this one, like, you can see there's a lot of nasty stuff and where it's been leaking and everything. So, well, I know this is a short video, but I just wanted to get something out for you guys. I've still got a lot more stuff to, you know, get installed in the car. I want to try and get that heater core. If I can get the heater core before I have to put this dash in. And, you know, I just want to get the interior, kind of get the car back together. And I'm still undecided on whether or not I'm going to keep the KA or if I'm going to go with a different engine. But for now, like I said, in the last video, you know, I want to drive it and see what it's like. But I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.